Welcome back to the Success Publishing videocast. My name is Jessica Soto, and I am here with one of our amazing co-authors, David He from Breakthrough Success. We just love shining a light on our authors and their stories and the amazing work that they're doing in the world. So welcome, David. Can you introduce yourself a little bit, give like the cliff notes on who you are and where you are in the world?
Yeah, thank you, Jessica. Thank you. Yes, so my name is David. Here I am. I'm actually from Melbourne, Australia. So it's a long way from where you guys is. It's other side of the planet. As you can see, it's quite cold here. It's winter. It's the nighttime. Yeah. So I've been in Australia for over 30 years. Originally, I was from China, and I was born in Shanghai, one of the biggest city in China, and moved to Australia maybe about 1990, early 1990, with my dad. Yeah, and my mom, and yeah. Since then, I used to be a ballet dancer, as you can see the picture at the back. Yeah, surprise. I don't know if there are not many ballerina guys around who's kind of doing what I do now. So yeah, so I've been doing. I was selected into in the book of Breakthrough Success, that I was selected into a professional full-time dancing in China for about that's like 7 years full-time program. Then I migrate to Australia, continue my dance career here, graduated from Australian Ballet School. Then I start danced around the world for many different companies, so performed on many stages. And yeah, then that's pretty much my last life before I was 30, kind of 30, 32, 33. Then after that, I kind of start getting to the business, which is took me probably about 15 years now, and to get to where I am now. Yeah.
Awesome. And so I see that you have the book behind you. Can you show it
Yes.
to the
Yeah.
people watching so they can get a good look at it? Awesome. How does it feel to hold your very own book with you on the
Uh,
cover?
yeah, it feels really it's great feeling to it's kind of my first book. I kind of just put my stories in it. I think it's everybody, in many of us, that kind of desire to share your stories to the world. So it is very special. I just want to take that chance to thank Success Publishing, and and you and Matt Morris was putting this awesome programs for for people just like me, average people. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that they want to share their stories. I'm sure no matter how ordinary we are, we all have that extraordinary stories can share with everybody. So yeah, this gives me a great opportunity. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we are all ordinary, but we're all also extraordinary in our own ways. So can you give us a little bit more of your story that led you to becoming an author? Like what you went through. We all go through different things in life, and what
Yeah.
brought you to being in Breakthrough Success.
Sure. I think one thing I've put in the book as well, that when I start dancing when I was like age of 10, and you get selected by in China, you get selected by the government. It's not like, I'm not sure if a lot of people don't know, they still do that. You get to select and you have no choice. You have to go. So kind of like going to this stage life with, it's not really my passion, you just kind of forced it, but it become what I love to do for many years. And after I retired, I just want to, I had a desire. I want to create something myself, like especially in the business. So I'm always have that little entrepreneurship in me, because my
Mhm.
parents migrate to Australia, 30 years ago, which is, my dad was at my age now. They started with nothing, and they built that small business, and now they retire. So I always have that in my head. So after I retire from dancing, that's probably around about 2005, and I moved back from Hong Kong to Australia. With In Hong Kong, I've danced over 10 years. I moved back to Australia. The first thing my mom kind of told me was, David, you need to, because we haven't really went through universities, because we were doing full-time dancing. So my mom always said, like, you have to buy yourself a business. Like when what she mean buy yourself a business means like buy yourself a job. It's like buy yourself a cafe, buy yourself set up a restaurant, all the small business. Yeah. So that's what I listened to. I did that for about 8 years. I was working. I bought a restaurant and a cafe, and I worked inside the business for all those 8 years. It was very tough work. I had to get up pretty much about 5:30 in the morning, and the cafe and the restaurant stays all the way until the nighttime. It closed about 11 p.m. So by the time I go home, I don't really see my kids. I don't really see my wife, or just pretty much you get up and walk. So for many years I just walked, and about 2013, and the economy starting Australia start collapsing, because we always a little bit behind United States. And United States had that big hit in 2008. So we started about 2013, and the economy went down. A lot of big companies are cutting people back, and when people in Australia, when you get redundant, you get some kind of a cash out. And in Australia, if you get a cash out, a lot of like executives, when they're out of the company, they usually they end up buying a business for themselves. So we see a lot of actually small cafes, small restaurant popping open. It actually impacted on my business a lot. And I found about 2014, I started kind of going to that, whatever the money I have to pay the rent, have to pay the wages. So basically I didn't have any money left for myself to pay my mortgage, feeding my kids. So I started borrowing money from my mom to actually sustain kind of my business. And that was not a very good idea. So I ended up in about 2 years time, around about 2016, I ended up spending all my mom's money. I didn't really realize, sometimes it's like a very Asian Chinese things when you can borrow money from your mom. I know a lot of Western, I didn't really, get it, because like for Chinese people, you can just borrow money from your parents. But it's like one day I was stood in front of my mom's, in front of her house, and she handed me some of the, I think it was about $1,000 cash. And she said, look, this is the last bit of her retirement saving money, which is put into her superannuation fund. And she took out, give it to me. So that night, it's impacted me a lot. And I kind of got really, I sat in the car. I remember it was a raining day, and it was very, very, it was one of the worst day I can, it's for you to lose money for your own saving is one thing, but to lose your mom's money, it's complete other things. I didn't really realize how selfish I was until many months and later. But back then I was just feel really frustrated and really sad. And and that was kind of the first moment I'm start like, I was thinking there got to be something else that or somebody else must went through the same kind of things that I went through. But that goes on for another couple of months. And what really changed me is I don't know if many of you may work in a restaurant before. You probably don't know. In the restaurant, there's a place called it's a grace trap, which is you trap all the dishwashing water, so which they trap the fat, and the water goes down, and they have to suck the fat out. Every month, every 2 weeks, it gets smelled really bad. It bears under the ground. So that got broken in my cafes, and I realized I couldn't have any extra cash because I didn't have my mom's money anymore. I didn't have any cash. So I had to so I asked one of my staff to do it, and my staff just gave me a glove saying, no, you got to do yourself because you're the boss. So I actually went and put my arm in, and the glove was about this long. And I realized that was way longer than my gloves are. It wasn't very, it was bad. It was like, it smelled so bad. And just, I literally stopped puking. It just, I don't want to go back that kind of situation. That was, but that was very clear. Like a second kind of moment struck me that I'm start really looking what's beyond my average life. I was thinking, there got to be other people who's having the same bad experience that kind of break through. But that still took me a while. It still took me another couple of months until my cafe's toilet went broke down. And this time I really had to put my hands into the toilet because I couldn't afford a plumber. So I put my hands in, and it just popped through, and all the stuff just flies threw out of the toilet, it splashed on my face and on yeah, it was literally on my face. It was on the mirror. I was standing there. I was like, you know what? So I start like, you know, and I had a moment. I was 40, and that was when I really look at myself. I had the tears in my eyes, and I couldn't understand what's happening in my life. You know, sometimes you start doing your own business. You had a great run in your life, then you start doing your business, everything went down. So yeah, so I start kind of look through all the different stages in my life, and I realized you know, that was the moment that I need to do something. That I need to find something that beyond my kind of circle and beyond my ability.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I start doing. So I started because all my friends said, look, you might want to try be a real estate agent, because if you want to become a real estate agent, because you don't have any costs, then it doesn't bear any. So I don't have to pay anything, and I just have to go there and sell the houses. Yeah, I started real estate agent. Then I got into sales, and I started selling some of the products and nutrition products just there. And you know, from 2016 to 2019, I was just trying to see a different gateways I can kind of break through. I start slowly coming back, and from the sales jobs, and yeah, then one day I kind of look at online, and I saw this guy, Matt Morris. Yeah, and he had he was sharing his story about how he slept outside the church and shower in the rain. I was like, I was like, wow, I really, I get it, because I was not that bad, but he's a lot worse. But I kind of feel that situation. So this is how I started to kind of look into his training program, and he had a great sales kind of mentorship program and all the social media. So yeah, then I joined that, and just one day and I just got an email from Steve Mullen, and he said, will you be interested to set up an interview to have a book? And then, and I was I was okay. I was kind of coming back out of my dark holes, and I was start paying my loans back, and I was like, you know what, this is always something I wanted to do. And this is, I say, why not? Because then I start looking at the success publishing, or the things you guys did, and I thought it was a great system. So yeah, that's how I end up here. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you definitely had a big like make or break moment that we all go through at some point in our lives. And I just like Matt inspired you, you realize, hey, like if he can do it, I can do it too. So what is it that you hope the readers of your chapter in your book get out of your story? What do you think?
I think one of the reasons I really want to share my story is when I was in that kind of bad situation, that I always think that I'm just by myself. Like everybody think that you're by yourself, and you think that you're the worst one in the world. And that's what everybody thinks. And after I got out of that situation, I realized, and then I started hearing stories like, Steve's stories and Matt's stories. I realized there are so many people far worse than what I went through, and kind of come back from that, and that's the main reason I want to share the story. It's not about how I put my hands in the toilet, I got, poured over my face, or this, but I just want to share my story, that I want people to know that in whatever the situation you are, and you will be out of that situation, you just have to stay there and keep grinding every day. And one day, just like me, I just, I had a chance, my turnaround chance just like that. I was just standing in the shopping center and hanging out those real estate flyer, and somebody just walked past me and said, look, would you like to know a very new health technology just came into Australia? I mean, I know it's about sales, it's about network marketing, but then I went there because the reason I went there is because I was looking for a breakthrough. So that's the main reason I want to share the story with people. So I want them to know that it can happen to them very next day. Yeah.
And then, so, I mean, it was the opportunity was presented to you and it sounded like a great idea to become an author, but why was now in your personal story, why was now a great time to step into that authority of being an author?
Oh, this is like, so far I can, I think a lot of people, when they think about publishing book, they think about, wow, it's like, five, six digits of, monies you have to spend. And when I first time talked to Steve, I was very surprised how much the success publishing can help me, and not in terms of the structures, how you put everything together and put on the cover there, but also the cost is very significant lower than what I was originally in my head. And so far, I just really want to tell everybody, so far this is one of the I think one of the best investment I have ever done. I mean, it's like, share your story is one of the greatest things, but the second greatest things is to actually, when you go out and when you talk to your friends, and it makes very different when you say you had a book, and people want, people not necessarily sometimes want to read a book. Sometimes everybody's busy, but when you say you actually publish the book and write your stories, that brings kind of not just, I think, beyond authority. People just look at you from very different dimension, and people just like, you must have something, and that allows you to write a book. Yeah. So, and from the bottom of my heart, this is one of the greatest investment, I think, to myself, as in your lifetime. I mean, if you have a book, this is something that, yeah,
that's awesome. I remember you sharing with the community of our authors when you got your book, and your daughter was so excited about it and like doing a little dance about it. So obviously she's a big fan too, but how did becoming an author, has it changed how you feel about yourself? Like, do you feel like you have this different identity now?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a lot of, like you said, a lot of feelings. Not there are external feelings that comes in, you feel good, but a lot of feelings is, you're right, it's from inside of myself. Because I seriously, if you present this opportunity, let's say 2 or 3 years ago, I would have passed, because I would never thought it's going to happen to me. I would never thought about who's going to interest my stories, who's going to buy the books, who's going to even look at it. No, I wouldn't dare to thought about that. And that is one thing I think Matt kind of impact on me. Although I never actually met Matt in person, but through his trainings, that in success publishing, that you guys let people feel that you can do it. Not just you can do it, but you can do it without all those extra burdens, and that makes me feel very, very, it just make you feel so delightful and hustle less, and also make you feel that you have accomplished something that you always want to accomplish, that kind of feeling. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. We're so glad that you're part of the author community.
Yeah.
And then, so with all of this, what's next for you? What's next?
Yeah, what's next? Well, my I think my business is traveling quite well, because I shouldn't say because COVID, but it is because COVID, because everybody online, a lot of people buying stuff on the e-commerce and making our business a lot better now. But one of the next things I want to do is, I do actually want to get another book, because in the first book, I think I'm co-author with Matt and other authors, but the next book I want to put a little bit more of my kind of sales skill and sales mentalities and all these kind of things that I've learned from the past 4 or 5 years. I want to put them into a system, to publish book. I mean, for me, I don't really. For me, the purpose to write that is not really like it's not even about try to teach people or something. So I just, sometimes you have things in your head that you just want to put into a physical book. So, you have something to pass to your kids one day, you say, hey, I had my 2 or 3 books about, that's what I was, that's what I'm planning to do. Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh, well, it was such a pleasure talking with you today,
Yeah.
David. And thank you for sharing your story a little bit more. Again, you can find Breakthrough Success with David He on Amazon. There's also the ebook version. And then where can all of our watchers find you? What's the best place to find you online to connect?
Well, I'm on Facebook all the time. You know, Facebook, and I'm using my Chinese name Da Wei He, but I'm starting TikTok as well. I did actually put a bit short video of myself with the book on the TikTok, which is Mr. David He. Most of my social media use Mr. David He because
There
I
you go.
haven't. Yeah, so yeah, you guys can find me up there. If, yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for watching again. It's a pleasure
No, it's
to
pleasure.
interview all of our co-authors and share their stories.